the God who never knew any pain, who didn't know torment, said, I'll do it. I'll die for these guys. I know they're messed up, all dysfunctional, just jacked up. You do something good for them and they still don't even get it. He gets whipped. The cat of nine tails. It's a whip with 9 lashes, bone and metal and rock on the end of it. This is God now we're talking about. Not talking about a prophet or a teacher. This is God being whipped for you, being punched in the face, being called out his name. See, the amazing thing, people got crucified all the time back in those days. But this is God. That's the scandal of our message. Not saying a prophet did it. We're not saying a teacher did it. This good guy that did good things. We're saying God himself came in the flesh and got lashed and cut and broken for us. That's a love that I can't understand. That's a love that surpasses knowledge. And then he says that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. There's a big, high and flighty words. All he's saying is you couldn't really measure it, but I'm praying that you get God. The abundance of who God is. The abundance of who God is not his power. The abundance of who God is not the blessings that you can get from him. The abundance of who God is love. And it's a love that overcame death. I have many loved ones, people that I graduated with that are gone. I did a little Facebook thing looking up your classmates, and I found some, but I realized that some wasn't there. And there's nothing that I can do to bring them back. But when Jesus died, the love of the Father couldn't let him stay in the grave. See, we're dealing with the Father who never fails. And so when you have this love of God, this abundance of who God is, you have the Father's love that never fails. See, you may have had an earthly father that didn't measure up, but now you have a Father who never fails. You may not feel like you measure up yourself, but you have a Father now who never fails. He's the Father who never fails. And I can remember now, my dad was gone. And I used to feel bad on Father's Day, the week of, because we were still in school. We used to have to make the cards. And everybody else is talking about what they're going to do. They're going to get their dad this card. And I'm thinking, my dad ain't really getting this card. I might as well throw it away now. And I started, I went to church, and they told me about this amazing God. And I started praying. And I'm a kid now. I'm 10 years old. I don't really understand all the dynamics, univocal and equivocal and all that. I just know they told me to pray, and then something's supposed to happen. And I prayed, and I prayed, and I kept bugging my mom. Are you ever going to get back with Dad? And it looked like it wasn't going to happen. Might as well ask her to get with Darth Vader. But one day he showed back up. And the thing is, that's good. God did something for me. A lot of people don't, God didn't work it all out like that. The point is not for God to work everything out in your life. The point is that he is a God who goes above and beyond what your earthly father can do. Fathers, I realize how selfish I am. Caden is 11 months old, and I'm like, when is 18 coming? And then I got another one on the way, and I'm like, who are you going to be? And will I have to? God is not selfish. He's so generous that he gives himself. He empties himself. And, in a month, I realized I ignored my dad's birthday. I realized I did it on purpose. One of those subconscious things, because I don't want to deal with my dad. He passed away. He's gone home. And this morning, I started thinking about what I was going to say today, and the tears started flowing because I'm still angry with him. After everything he did for me, taught me how to ride a bike, even taught me some Marine combat moves just in case. Everything he did for me, I'm still angry with him because he left me. He left me physically, walked out the door, and then he died. And it was his fault. And I've been resenting him, and he's not even around. I've been resenting him for 5 years. This is the least attended service in America, the least attended Sunday worship service in America, because we still have issues we need to deal with. And we as men, those of us who are fathers, need to get on and do what we call to do. I realize I have to let it go, because as much as he was my father in the earthly sense, God took care of me. As much as he failed me, God took care of me. I talk about my grandfather because he was my father. And when my biological father was not there, God the Father, from whom every family, every father in heaven and earth is named, was there. As much as I felt like I can't even call you up now. I got a family now. I don't know how to do this. God the Father is right there. And I don't like crying on stage, but this is serious, people. If we don't deal with this, see, I lead now. My dad was a very passionate man, a very emotional man. He had a hard temper. And I started seeing it welling up in me. When people here don't do what I want them to do. When people here don't show discipline. Because he was so undisciplined. And ever since I realized that, I strove. I'm not going to be like him. And so I get upset at everybody who shows even a glimpse of that. If you don't deal with it now, it's going to affect every relationship you have. It'll affect even your relationship with God. Every time something happens, what happened, God? Did you go on vacation? Father that we're talking about never fails. He never goes on vacation, and even after you 18, he still wants you in the house. Let's pray.